I was fighting somebody in Fortnite and talking to my buddies, you know, the old teammates that I had. We always use it to catch up on the games and stuff like that, how we've been doing. And yeah, mid-game, mid-battle, get the call, ignore it the first time, heat of battle. Sorry, Miggy. Pick it up the second time, okay, this is probably pretty important. Pick it up, die on the game. Had to, and then get the news, and immediately I unmute myself and say, hey John, bro, I gotta go. I'll talk to you later. Shut it off and start walking to the stadium from the hotel. And the rest of that's been a blur since then, but yeah, I'll remember that for sure. And everything else after.
Who was the first phone call you made?
My mom, yeah. Mom and dad were in the car together, so one phone call, got both of them. And then funny enough, I said, hey, call grandpa and grandma, or I said, don't call grandpa and grandma, I'll call them after I take care of this stuff. I gotta go meet with the manager, pack up my stuff. And then I get a call from my mom right as I'm ending packing and all that. Hey, you gotta tell grandpa and grandma, they don't believe me. I said, what, you told them? So yeah, we're over here, because we live 2 miles from them, right? So they drove over, assuming about 40 minutes had passed that I had already called them. I was like, I just got done packing and everything. I didn't tell them. So wasn't able to call them, but my parents delivered the news and they had a great time there. And then, then they went into travel mode. How are they gonna get here? One of my buddies, he's here today. Actually, he goes to school in Hawaii. I texted him because I knew he'd be asleep. Texted him, said, hey, know you're probably asleep, but when you wake up, you might want to watch the Pirates game, because it's a 1:30 game. 7 o'clock start in Hawaii. He texted me back at like 3 a.m. He just got up, saw the text, and he's half asleep. I called him right when I saw the text and said, hey, I know you're sleeping. I'm sorry that it has to be like this, but I'm going to Pittsburgh right now. How crazy is this? Because he's a Steelers fan, Pittsburgh fan. And so he's here today, made it happen. But that was funny too. One of my best friends, I'm telling him, and he's half asleep, and he's like, dude, I'm so happy and I'm so tired. I'll call you when I wake up. So, different experiences, pretty cool. I had to pet the dog. I mean, you put a dog there. I know he's a service dog and needs to smell the cars to make sure there's nothing there, but I see a dog, you gotta pet it. And look, I think he wanted to be pet. So, and then yeah, leave the keys, get the stuff onto the cart, and then just kind of take that tunnel runway in, which was kind of cool. First time on one of those machines too, the little transportation carts you guys have. And yeah, just kind of take in the tunnel that hopefully I'll be walking in for a while. And the city, I like that little city backdrop with the river and everything. And
you get to see Ben and Shelty.
Yep.
Just hugs all around.
Yeah, very, very excited to meet him. Obviously this is the first time I've met both of them because of the trade and everything. And then the locker room, yeah, see Alika, see all these guys, Jared, you get to the locker and then you see all these familiar faces. It's pretty cool, and makes it a lot easier. There's Dalton, Jared, and Kyle. Kyle, like, we've played against each other coming up for the last 3 years, and it's like one of those things, him, but you're really just meeting him for the first time, and he's one of your teammates, so that's pretty cool. Rookie, all these guys, and I got to know him in AAA, and it was a lot of fun, and then sure enough, they can show me the ropes up here.
Yeah, and you've had a lot of jerseys in your career. What's it like seeing the Pirates jersey for the first time?
Really special, really special. One of our great family friends is Art Howe. Played here, and he has history with the Pirates, obviously, and being able to debut with a team that is very special to him, and he's been one of my mentors, just explaining how everything was for him, advice he has, and gave me great advice. He was at my grandparents' house when my parents went over there and everything, so he was on the phone too. So really special that it's this team, and definitely in a great city. And he told me the people here are awesome. I'm gonna love it.
First question you asked me, if you have any advice for me, what is it?
Yeah, he said, soak it in. soak it in. And that's what a lot of people said. They said, you know, don't be in a rush, be where your feet are, and just embrace the moment. They said you're gonna look back and it's gonna be a blur. And so while you're there, just take as much time as you can to you know, the views, the crowd, the other team, the dirt, whatever you can, because it goes fast, but you only get one debut, and whatever you need to do to make it special and really remember it, just do that.
He also, at one point, said to you, same game, just a different part. And you actually quoted that back in your post-game interview. Like,
Mhm.
was asking questions.
Yeah.
How much did that, like...
It was, I mean, great advice, because I think you could get in your own head if you say, okay, well, it's a bigger stage, better competition, but in the end, it's the same game. You've been playing same field sizes, honestly, since high school. And so growing up, you always dream of getting here, but you know, you're still playing baseball. So that advice was great as well. And you just kind of can relax and say, you know, I've done this a million times, and everything that I've done up to this point has brought me here, and I'm just going to keep doing it. It's not like you're changing. And yeah, I referenced that in the post-game interview because it was that good of advice, and definitely going to remember that every day from now on too. Yeah, so right here, you know, I'm waiting. I'm like, who's leading us? Jared's already out there, and they keep yelling at me, hey, Billy, you're first, lead us out. Just run to the position and meet this kid. And I told him, you know, in this, I said, hey, what's your name? He tells me, I said, nice to meet you. You're part of a special game for me. This is my first major league game and first on-field signature, so thanks for being a part of that. And then, you know, guys need their ground balls, but kind of in between, meet the umpire, and then take in the stadium and just kind of embrace that, you know, I'm in Pittsburgh right now about to play a major league game.
This is the play. Tell us kind of like just natural to you?
I guess, yeah. I mean, kind of, you know, pop fly, I'm used to it in the outfield, and I mean, I can't tell you that I know the dimensions or whatever. I'm not somebody that marks off where the wall is compared to the foul line, especially at first. So just go after the ball, and as I was running, it stayed in, at least enough for me to have a chance. Reach out, and I caught it, and thankfully right after I caught it is when I hit. If I had hit before, that might have thrown everything off. But the nets definitely, you know, have a little more spring, so it was nice, kind of bounce off of that. Maybe the fans tried to give me a little push too. You know, you had a few people there putting their hands out. But yeah, that was a fun play to kick it off and kind of get those nerves out of the way. You want your first play, you know, you always want to make it and just not think. And that was definitely one, you know, you can't think. You got to just see the ball, go catch it, and that's kind of what I tried to do.
The hit and the bounce back was like so natural that it almost looked like you're like, yep, I've done this before. You know what I mean? Like you
Right.
knew that net was going to push you back.
Right. I was hoping. I didn't really think about the net. I was just thinking I don't want to go head first. So you kind of lead with that shoulder, you know, and if you hit the wall, try to stay horizontal instead of flip on your head. And yeah, the net definitely helped, but yeah, it's definitely a play that I can't explain it, but then you just make it and look back and you're like, yeah, I guess I did do that, you know. Even the tongue, my aunt was like, yeah, your tongue was a little out. I was like, I will never ever notice that. I'm so concentrated, I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, well, let me tell you a funny story here then. So this umpire, Edwin, right? So in the fall league this last fall, he was umpiring, and I didn't know his name. And I'm in the outfield, and there's a ball on the field. He was the third base umpire, and so I'm yelling, trying to get time, you know, ball in the middle of a game, and nobody's hearing me, so I just yell, blue, 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 and you know, he turns time, and I run in after the inning, and he stopped me, pulled me aside, and just said, you know, hey, just so you know, when you get to the major leagues, you need to know the umpires' names, right? You're up there, it's a respect thing. We try to know yours. He said, I'm sorry, that's my fault. I was just trying to get your attention. What's your name? He said, my name's Edwin. So fast forward, you know, and I would tease him, you know, every time I saw him after that, I would say, hey, Blue, what's up? And then, you know, just kidding, Edwin, whatever. So we have a pretty good relationship just from that, and he's very professional. But then he was actually in Toledo while we were there this last week. So I'm talking to him. I'm playing first. He's first base umpire, and he goes, hey, good to see you again. I was like, you gonna be behind the plate tomorrow? No, I'm going to Pittsburgh. I was like, oh yeah, well, hopefully I see you there. And he's like, yeah, I hope so. Sure enough, my debut, he's not just in the game, he's a home plate umpire. So with this, you can see us just kind of look at each other, and there's just that little smile, and he's like, you called it, you called it. So that was pretty cool, and definitely I think helped me relax a little, just a little more familiarity in a brand new experience. Good meeting, just about the pitcher and kind of what to expect, and I mean, I can't say that I went up there and remembered everything that we had planned for, because this was a big moment, but some good advice that was given to me was get that first swing out of the way and just be ready to hit. So, super slow curveball, probably the last thing I was expecting. 68 mile per hour pitch on your MLB debut, right? Way out in front, but I was like, look, it's a strike. Like, I'm gonna see what I can do with it. And then this next pitch, try to stay aggressive, and it was a little better one to hit, a little slider. And as I'm running, I hook it, and I don't know if it's hooking enough or not. And I'm watching it as I'm running, just saying, please stay fair, don't hook. And then I didn't even see where the ball landed. I look at the umpire and just see his hand point fair. And I gave a little let's go, and then get to second, right? I didn't even know it went in the stands. I just saw the umpire at second, hands up, because I was, hopefully it's fair, and then just rounding the bases, no, it's a double, and go after, see what happens after that. But definitely a great first at bat, good experience, and get those swings out of the way, stay aggressive, and it worked out.
And your parents were there.
They were, yep. They, so glad that they made it. They were there for the whole game with my grandparents, and I know they got interviewed too. They loved that. That was fun, and they loved the ballpark and the city and everything. So they were glad to be back. My first time here. They've been here a few times. They were glad to be back, especially for this occasion. Yeah, that's where I'm saying, please stay fair, please stay fair. And then, don't know what the double celebration is for the team, but figure something out. But yeah, and then it was cool, it's everybody has their major league debut, and so all the Nats guys, when they would get a single, or the next time I got on, they all said congrats, and the umpires. So very, very humbling experience. They've all been through it, obviously, because they're still in the big leagues here, and it's special. Everybody, even the other team, kind of recognizes the debut as that special moment. So that was cool.
That's amazing.
I don't know how to describe the feeling, but you've worked your whole life for this. This is what you've dreamed of, and I wouldn't say that every time I thought in my MLB debut it would be this or this or this. I tried to just say, let's just see what it'll be like, and take that approach. And so that's what it was, and I'm happy with how it went. But again, it's you try not to get caught up once the game starts in adding more pressure, because it is the debut. But then looking back, it's very special that my family, my aunt and uncle, my grandparents were able to be here. Great teammates, they right when I walked in said, hey, congrats, very, very happy for you. And you can kind of feel that they really are, right? And so just taking that, moving forward, and kind of reciprocating it for the next guy to debut, and just being a great teammate. Now it's the second game and the third game. Now you're a Pittsburgh Pirate with all of these guys, not just your first game, but you're here to help them win and be on this team. So it's very special, and going forward, that's what we'll continue to do.